Vanakkam Dohadeva and everyone. Wonderful to be with you again. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviyam Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And we'll see if we can share the screen here. And we have July 24th. Here we are. We have a story. Let's see what the story is to start with. In a recent exchange of emails with a devotee, it became clear that he was clinging to aspects of the idea that career and family are separate from making spiritual progress. This is a common misconception, and I thought it would be good to share part of the publisher's desk. Work is worship, which refers to this idea. Over the last year, I have met with a surprising number of Hindus visiting our Hawaii temple and monastery who have shared the concern that we are so busy with our professional and family life that we have little or no time to devote to religion. Their perspective is based on the concept that work and worship are totally separate. Worship is what is done in the temple and shrine room. Work is what is done in the fields, the factory, or the office. The attitude is we are working to earn money to support ourselves. We are worshiping to receive the blessings of the gods. The two realms are unrelated when viewed in this way. This, of course, is not the highest Hindu perspective. Great souls tell us that work, when performed in the right spirit, is worship. What is it that transforms work from a secular pursuit into a religious one? It is the overview that through the process of living life we unfold spiritually. It is the knowing that through fulfilling our natural duties in life honestly and to the best of our ability, we make spiritual progress. Why? Because work puts us in situations where we interact with other people, especially when we hold our dharmic responsibility over an extended period. Through interacting with others, we learn important lessons and, as a result, deepen our understanding, improve our behavior, and become a more spiritual person. In doing so, we work through the karma we created in the past and create a new but more refined karma to be faced in the future. With this in mind, we can see that our daily work contributes to our spiritual progress just as much as attending pujas in the temple, worshiping in our home shrine, going on pilgrimage, singing bhajans, meditating, or studying scripture. Paramaguru Yogaswami captured the essence of this perspective when he said, "All work must be done with the aim of reaching God." From the Hindu perspective, all of life is sacred, and performing our duty, of course, is called dharma. Dharma is a rich term that means way of righteousness, religion, and fulfillment of duty. And as I've mentioned before, if you have to put it into one word, duty is a good one to choose. Fulfilling our dharma means fulfilling our duties in life, different types of duties. From this lofty view, every deed is part of our religious practice. Everything we do is an act of worship and faith. There are no purely secular activities. Our worship in the temple is part of our dharma, and our work or occupation is part of our dharma. We all have certain duties in life. It is the duties of children to go to school and become educated. It is the duty of adults to earn an income to properly raise, educate, and care for their children. Our natural profession in this life is based on the professions we have fulfilled in our past lives, plus the karma we bring into this life. This is our swadharma, our ideal pattern in life, and fulfilling it to the best of our ability causes us to make spiritual progress. The mystic law is that no challenge can come to us that exceeds our inner ability to rise up to overcome it. Paramaguru Yogaswami stressed this point to his devotees in Sri Lanka a half-century ago. Do your work. Work is swadharma, following your pattern. That's our first topic. So no separation of secular and sacred. And the next topic is an answer to a question to satsang@hindu.org. Where does understanding and comprehension take place? Is it always an intuitive flash from the superconscious or sub-superconscious? Or does the subconscious carry the powers of comprehension, discrimination, and understanding? Or simply a depository? There's a couple of different ways of approaching this. I chose this one. There are different types of understanding and comprehension. The simplest is that of memory. For example, a young child touches a hot pan and receives a minor burn. The child now understands that a hot pan causes a burn and avoids touching hot pans in the future. So memory is giving us understanding. A second type involves our emotions and a sense of empathy. We can understand the emotional state of another person, particularly those we are close to, through a sense of empathy. So again, that has nothing to do with superconscious or sub-superconscious. A third type involves the intellect. In school, we learn how to add and subtract. That is an educational process that produces understanding of numerical questions. So, of course, that's the intellect. A fourth type involves cognition, which our lexicon defines as knowing, perception, knowledge, reached through intuitive superconscious faculties rather than through intellect alone. And an example. You are puzzled that you have a dislike for a certain person, which is unusual as you generally like everyone. You have thought about it, that is, used your intellect, and have been unable to figure out the cause. Then one day you have an insight from your intuition, sub-superconsciousness, that he is outspoken in the same way your father was outspoken, which was a quality you did not like in your father. Realizing this, your dislike for the person doesn't exist anymore. Well, that's definitely beyond intellect. Intellectually, we couldn't figure it out. And then we had an insight, an aha moment from the sub-superconscious, which gave us an insight we previously didn't have. Looking at this idea in the context of Shum, we have the word Simvum Kami, fourth dimension, sub-superconscious mind. Awareness cognizing the interrelated forces of the fifth, fourth, and third dimensions. So that's what we just did in our example. We cognize the interrelated forces of the third dimension. We saw how the subconscious was influencing our conscious mind in a way we didn't like, and we fixed it. 3, from this detachment, we gain the ability to to dissolve confusions, conflicts, and the various and varied entanglements that are encountered daily. So again, that's what the example did. It dissolved a confusion. Why don't we like this person? 4, the realm of artistic creativity. 5, here is the resting place where we look in and up and out and down. 6, consciousness should never go lower, but when soaring higher returns to this resting place, the 4th dimension. That's the eventual goal. This dimension relates to the Kamshu Malinga Rimche Nali, the 4th one, Anahata in Sanskrit. To experience the portraits within this dimension, look at the world from the chest area. Next question. Questions are all quite different today, which is nice. Hopefully 1 or 2 points for everyone to relate to, since there's so many. When transitioning from the physical plane at the moment of death, we are told to leave through the Sahasrara chakra at the top of the head. If we are asleep or unconscious, how would we be sure of doing that? Very good point. So here's a quote from Gurudeva. It's saying a little more than we just try for the Sahasrara chakra. Quote, after everything is settled, all personal possessions disposed of, then he begins meditation and waits the fruitful hour, trying to exit through the highest chakra of the attainment of this life. Each chakra is a door through which we can depart. End of quote. In other words, the crown chakra is only a possible exit chakra if you previously attained it. So that's a clarifying quote. It doesn't answer the question. It clarifies that it's actually not just the Sahasrara chakra, but an individual is trying for the highest chakra of the attainment of this life. Go back to the question. If we are asleep or unconscious, how would we be sure of doing that? My answer, I think it depends if the person has been experiencing a terminal illness for some time or death is unexpected. If unexpected, I think it would be difficult if asleep or unconscious to do so. If at the end of a terminal illness, inner plane beings could be there to help, and you could be aware of them even if sleeping or unconscious. In other words, you're really not sleeping or unconscious. You're in the inner worlds working with beings who are helping you through your transition. It just looks like you're sleeping or unconscious to other people. So if that's going on, they could help you exit through the highest chakra previously attained. And that's one reason why a transition which you know about and which takes time to happen is a better one than an unexpected one that you don't plan for. The next one is a classic question. And we'll get some order. In Gurudeva's teachings, is awareness synonymous with consciousness? How do these two relate to the mind? So my note is that part of the unclarity is the many different ways the word consciousness is used in the English language. And this is true even in our definitions that you're about to look at. In the word for awareness, you'll see the word consciousness, and the word for consciousness, you'll see the word awareness. So that doesn't help. Awareness. Individual consciousness, perception, knowing, the witness of perception, the inner eye of the soul. Sakshin or chit in Sanskrit. The soul's ability to sense, see, or know, and to be conscious of this knowing. When awareness is indrawn, pratyak chetana, various states of samadhi occur. Awareness is known in the Agamas as Chit Shakti, also in Yoga Sutras. The power of awareness, the inner self, and eternal witness. The witness of perception, the inner eye of the soul. The soul's ability to sense, see, or know, and to be conscious of this knowing. Okay, I see that I have to fix those slides. So out of all of that, the phrase I would like to capture the essence of what awareness is, read that again. Out of all of that, the phrase I like to capture the essence of what awareness is that awareness is the witness. That which is seeing something. It's not the something that's going on, it's just the witness. I witnessed this happen. You could testify at a trial. I witnessed, I saw all this happen. I know that this happened. You just saw it. You're the person who saw it. So when we internalize that, it's still the same idea. Awareness is the seer. Witness, suction. So we have the definition of consciousness. Perception, awareness, apprehension. There are many layers or levels of consciousness, ranging from the ordinary everyday consciousness of our body and mind to omniscient states of superconsciousness. Consciousness aware only of itself is pure consciousness. So my phrase to capture the essence of what consciousness is that consciousness is what is being witnessed. So we have the witness and what's being witnessed, two different things, right? The witness is that which sees, perceives, and understands. That which is being witnessed is the event, the condition. Witness and witnessed, or that which is being witnessed. So we'll take examples. I am witnessing sadness, internal sadness. I is awareness, and sadness is the state of consciousness. So we can witness, awareness can witness a state of consciousness. It doesn't have to be a positive one. In this case, sadness, we'll call it a negative one we don't want to stay in forever. Or, I am witnessing inner light, positive state. I is awareness, and inner light is the state of consciousness. So that should be clear. Witness and what is witnessed. Witness is awareness, what is witnessed is consciousness. Then we get an interesting one. You will remember that the last sentence in the definition of pure consciousness was consciousness aware only of itself is pure consciousness. And in Shum, we have Kaif, is a state of awareness being aware of itself. So again, we're tripping over the words consciousness and awareness. The idea is that at the deepest level of consciousness, there is nothing. The idea is that at the deepest level of consciousness, there is nothing for awareness to witness. Consciousness is so pure that awareness only witnesses itself. That make sense? If there's nothing to see, to hear, then all you're experiencing is yourself. The witness is experiencing the witness. There's nothing that is witnessed. So you look out and there's nothing there. So you're just aware of being the witness. And then we get Gurudeva's wonderful explanation of how they all relate and how they relate to the mind, which we haven't answered yet. Consciousness and awareness are the same when awareness is totally identified with and attached to that which it is aware of. I am happy. Awareness thinks it's the consciousness of happiness. So awareness tends to identify with states of consciousness and think that's what it is, but it's not. It's the witness of that. So I'll read that again. Consciousness and awareness are the same when awareness is totally identified with and attached to that which it is aware of. To separate the two is the artful practice of yoga. Then it really gets interesting. A tree has consciousness. Probably never thought about that. Awareness can flow into the tree and become aware of the consciousness of the tree. So awareness can become aware of the consciousness of others, including plants. Consciousness and mind are totally equated as a one thing when awareness and consciousness are a one thing to the individual. But when awareness is detached from that which it is aware of, it can flow freely, and you can try and say that fast, I can't. Flow freely through all five states of mind and all areas of consciousness, such as plants and the earth itself, elements and various other aspects of matter. Here we find awareness separate from consciousness, which we made that point before, and consciousness separate from the five states of mind attributed to human being. End of quote. So that's the new idea. Consciousness is separate from the five states of mind. How is that? It's because what we call the mind is how consciousness and awareness function in a human being. So we have awareness, we have consciousness, they function in a certain way. That's called the mind, meaning the human mind. Everyone, it works the same in everyone. But it's different from how they function in a plant. So you don't have a mind in the plant. The human mind is not in a plant, but yet it has awareness and consciousness. You touch a plant, the plant knows it's been touched. It has awareness. So to summarize again, what's the difference between awareness and consciousness? Awareness is the witness. Consciousness is that which is being witnessed. Very simple idea. Sakshin, the witness. What's being witnessed can be an emotion such as sadness, or it can be an inner experience such as inner light. The witness of it doesn't change. It's like on a screen, you can project positive images, you can project negative images. The light that's lighting the images doesn't change. Just the images change. Okay, on to our third topic. Generosity, which is the 26th character quality of our character building workbook. And as usual, we'll let you start by defining generosity. What is generosity to you? It's a pretty simple one. Workbook gives us definition. Generosity is the willingness to give and be charitable. I express generosity when I give freely to others of my money, possessions, time, and energy. Quite often in modern society, we think of generosity as just relating to giving money. But it's giving as even a deeper event. If you give away a possession that you really like, or you give of your time and energy, you do some seva. That's real generosity. And the opposite is stinginess. Gurudeva's quotes, generous self-giving is among Dharma's central fulfillments. These are different ways of giving. Hospitality, charity, and support of God's work on earth arise from the belief that the underlying purpose of life is spiritual, not material. Next quote. You have generosity. You give and you give and you give and you give. And according to the great law of karma, you can't give anything away, but that it will come back to you. Not necessarily the day after, but it does come back. That's what the law of karma says. And the last quote. The best way to keep the actinic force flowing through the physical body is practicing the art of giving, doing little things for others that you have not been asked to do. This keeps you creative, and being creative is actinic, superconscious, and religious. Giving, doing without thought of return, affectionate detachment creates an odic vacuum which your actinic spiritual forces flow in and fill. So that is the general advice in Gurudeva's teachings to state of mind such as, call it mild depression, not chronic depression. Mild depression can be overcome by doing more for other people, getting out there, interacting more with people, and helping them. You can get rid of a mild depression. Comparing the actions of one who is generous to one who is stingy. And we have our 3 examples. Interesting. Lights coming up twice. First situation, seeing needy beggars sitting at a temple entrance, you. Generosity, give $20 knowing it is more than they will receive all day. Stinginess, give $1 and consider your duty done. Second situation, in response to a clothing drive in the community, you. Generosity, give up a favorite sweater and collect old clothing from other family members. Stinginess, donate an old shirt you never liked. Third situation, when asked to help repaint a nearby temple, you. Generosity. Say yes and make yourself available each weekend. Stinginess, say that you were just too busy. And we have our moment of reflection to identify a few ways in which you could improve in generosity. And our assignment. During these 2 weeks, identify 2 or 3 instances of being unexpectedly asked to give help or give. Observe your initial reactions, overcome any resistance, and participate fully. Oh, that's the end of our presentation.